Well, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Phillip Oval here in Canberra. We are just across the road from the Woden Hospital, the Royal Canberra Hospital. Chris Coleman with you to bring you the action from this round 15 clash in the Austbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup match between the Woden Valley Rams and the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. Today, well, it's a really interesting one. The Woden Valley Rams, to coin a cliche, are right on the edge of the precipice. They sit sixth on the competition table. They have 3 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws. Those 2 draws may prove incredibly costly for them at the end of the season. They sit sixth. They are just behind the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. The Tuggeranong Bushrangers sit fifth with 5 wins, 6 losses, 1 draw. But the tail of the tape doesn't end there. The Woden Valley Rams have 12 competition points. The Tuggeranong Bushrangers have 15. So with just a handful of games remaining now, just 4 games remaining, for Woden Valley it is win today to keep any chance of making the finals alive, bearing in mind that in the next 2 weeks, well, it doesn't get much easier for them. In fact, it gets a hell of a lot harder. They have the Blues at Seaford Oval, the undefeated Blues at Seaford Oval next week, and then they host the Queanbeyan Kangaroos here at Phillip in a fortnight's time, and they're second on the table. So seriously, a very, very tough time coming up for the Woden Valley Rams, but they need to win today to keep that competition, any hopes of making the postseason alive. For the Tuggeranong Bushrangers, well, it's a little bit easier. They win today. They stay 1 point behind West Belconnen, who had a win yesterday, a big win too, 60-0 over Belconnen United. But more importantly, they stay in touch with West Belconnen, who they play next week. And that'll be our Bar TV game next week, by the way. So that should be a most exciting affair up there at Kipax. Other result from yesterday, the Queanbeyan Blues continued upon their merry way. They won 52-6 over the Yass Magpies. Other game in progress this afternoon, or about to get underway, I should say, this afternoon. The Goulburn Workers Bulldogs are playing the Gungahlin Bulls, and the Queanbeyan Kangaroos have a bye in this round 15 clash. What can we tell you about these two sides? As mentioned, the Rams, they've gone 3-7-2. Started the season relatively well, had a lot of problems early in the season with ball control. Saw them a couple of times early in the season, and they just put down so much ball, and it cost them points and it's cost them games. And as I mentioned, the 2 draws in there, both of which they really could have. Some people might even say should have won. So tough for them, but look, they are mathematically still alive. The Tuggeranong Bushrangers 5-6-1. Who are we looking out for this afternoon? I think for the Rams, well, Cleve McGee, he's carried a lot of weight this season and may wind up with the goal-kicking duties today as well in the absence of Carl Johnson. So Cleve McGee, 9 tries so far this year. Jack Hickson, 5 tries, and Michael Gilmore, 7 tries. Obviously the players to keep an eye out for. Interesting on the bench, you've got Charlie Hallam. I've seen him a couple of times this season, been really impressed with him, and Ron Leopai as well. He's only scored 1 try, but done a lot of work in the lead-up for the Woden Valley side during the course of this season. For the visiting team, for the Tuggeranong Bushrangers, well, Jaden Pollard, what can you say? 11 tries for the season. Josh Mitchell, captain of the side, 7 tries, 27 goals for the season as well. There's plenty of points being shared around amongst the rest of the backline in there. Afamui, Brophy and Henson have 10 tries between them, and one very late change. Now, this literally in the last 55 minutes. One very late change for the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. We were expecting to see John Papali out there in number 16, but a very late call-up for Liam Oakley onto the bench in number 16. Poses some interesting questions for Justin Giddo, the Tuggeranong Bushrangers coach, because, well, he's had to make that change late, and it means that they are down a little bit in size on the bench compared to the Woden Valley Rams. So that's where we're at for the Tuggeranong Bushrangers today. Dane Ewings, a real utility player, played in a lot of positions today. He slots in the number 11 jersey, so into the second row. And a man to watch out there, Brent Wallace. Let's keep an eye out for him to lock forward in number 13 for the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. So that is an abbreviated match preview. The Tuggeranong Bushrangers are out there already. The Woden Valley Rams are making their way out now. They are a little bit unfamiliar in some cases out there. Some changing positions for the Woden Valley side. Carl Johnson Keb Vato and Costa Pazantzis. None of those three players playing today. Pazantzis has been very good for them as hooker for much of this season. Carl Johnson, look, his form apparently has dropped off from early in the season. He was just playing in reserve grade, so hopefully he gets back to the top flight at some stage. And Keb Vato, a very easy to pick player, and again someone who I've enjoyed calling. So that's a little bit of a different look to this Woden Valley Rams side this afternoon. Last week for the Rams, it was a 30-16 loss at the West Belconnen Warriors ground at Kippax, and that really effectively, and certainly talking to a few of the Woden Valley supporters, did put a very big dent in their finals aspirations. And as I mentioned, next week they're up against the Blues at Seaford. Last week it was a heartbreaker for the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. They went down 24-22 against Yass, and that was at Greenway. Those home games, they've had a couple of unfortunate results at home this year, the Tuggeranong Bushrangers, and that was one of them. And of course, the last time these sides played, we were actually at Greenway for Bar TV. It was a 16-all draw. 16-12 it was at half-time in favour of the Tuggeranong Bushrangers, with just the one try unconverted scored in the second half of that game. It was a cracking affair, very controversial finish. There was a forward pass call in there that, depending on who you support and who you spoke to, some people said it was forward, some people said it was flat. I watched the replay about 20 times. Couldn't pick it out either way, but it was I think it was, from memory, it was even a try called and then called back. Anyway, we're underway. The Tuggeranong Bushrangers running from right to left on your screen. That is the downhill on this ground. There is a little bit of a slope to it. The Woden Valley Rams going from left to right. And we're underway with Michael Gilmore bringing it up, being lifted up and unceremoniously dumped for the Rams just outside the 30-metre line. And they go across to the right, to the left, I should say. Plenty of physicality being shown in the tackles by the Bushrangers, including Dane Ewings in that lot. Come across through Brad Pryor. Really big units for Woden Valley. Up to the 40. Go across to the left. Moala. He's been a bit of a battering ram for the Rams, pardon the pun, this season. Gets an offload. Plenty of dust coming up off this ground. Kicks in at dummy half. Go across to the left. Kick comes downfield from Jack Hickson. Two Hicksons out there today, one for each side, with Daniel Hickson playing for Tuggeranong, Jack Hickson for the Woden Valley Rams, and we'll see both of them in plenty of action today. Probably Jack a bit more being the halfback for the Rams. Pollard it is, bringing it out now towards the 30 for the Bushies. Mitchell, dummy half, gets an offload. Just a quick one. Come back to the left. Up boys, up comes the call from the Rams fans. Tupu towards halfway. Come across to the left again. And that's Brent Wallace. And we said to keep an eye out for in the preview, injecting himself into this game early. Gets the ball across halfway. Last tackle call from the referee. Kick comes from Henson. Doesn't go for the high option. Awkward couple of bounces. And eventually it's Jesse Torres, the fullback, who picks it up. Cleve McGee now, up over the 30. Woden have just been unlucky this season. They've had, at one stage, I think 20 senior players unavailable, if I'm remembering correctly. Liam Murphy is coming off the wing with that run. And that's Jeff Morgan in the bottom. It is. 10 short of halfway. Call coming from Tom Hicks for some sort of help from the referee, with Morgan being held down in that previous tackle. Gilmore takes it up over halfway. And they come across to the left. They've got plenty of numbers. Instead, go for the sky off the boot of Jaden Carroll. Underneath it is Vadabuli. Takes it comfortably on his own 10. Turns around. Tries to get around the outside. Wrapped up by Feeney and others in tackle. So both sides really feeling each other out at the moment. Come across to the left through Tautai. Running it up just close to the middle of the park. A bit more speed there shown from Mitchell, giving it across to Ewings. Really are moving at a bit more pace on this set, the Bushrangers, and able to evade the tackle is Aru Tupu. Tackled on halfway. Going right this time. That's with Midwari. Haven't seen Midwari before, so I can't tell you a lot about him. Koda Midwari. Only played a handful of games. I think it's his third or fourth game for the season. So he's in at halfback, and we'll see a lot of him this afternoon. Tors once again takes the catch of the midfield bomb just inside the 20. Only gets to make another couple of metres. It's Geiger, I think, this time. His first touch, if it was him. It was indeed. They're across to the left, pushing through Moala again. It wasn't Moala, in fact. Who was it? Similar hair on the top. So there's Moala, just behind Carroll. Curious about who that was. Actually, Cleve McGee. There we go, a bit taller than I thought he was. Okay, Hickson. Now that's Moala. Bounces out of one, bounces out of the second. Doesn't make any extra ground. Takes it a little bit out of the defence, though. Now it's Brad Pryor. Brad Pryor pushing up. They're only 15 out here, the Rams. Early scoring opportunity. That's only the second by my count. Now it's with Jeff Morgan. Tries to step inside. They've drawn another penalty. Like I said, the Rams need to win today. They also need a big win. So if it comes down to points for and against, they have a horrendous points differential of -98. Moala charges for the posts. He's only a metre out. In fact, half a metre out. His head's almost on the line. Hicks loses control of the ball. It goes to ground. That's disappointing, unfortunate, call it what you will. You're going to get another crack at it. There were plenty of Rams out to the left, so Bushies really didn't have many other options than to just try and disrupt the flow of play. You'll see it here. Must have been just a hand in there because it was a very ordinary looking pass from Hicks. Back to live action. Hickson. Wow. Quick play, quick passing play. And players losing their feet all over the place. And you've got Moala just standing off the ruck to the left, to the right. They give it to him. It takes 3 to bring him down. He's wrapped up 6 metres out. Sustained pressure from this Woden Valley Rams side. They go across to the left through Gilmore. He's got 7 tries for the season. He wasn't far from number 8. Push and shove, only a metre out. They're spread right out across the park here. A couple of quick long balls, and there is a big overlap. Then another long pass. That's Tors. They need a longer ball. He goes short instead to Morgan. Morgan 7 metres out. Last tackle is the call. Back to the left they go. Kick comes from Hickson. Hit potentially a little bit late. Referee says nothing in it. Ball goes dead over the end of the field. And we'll come back out to the 20. No score, 7 minutes into this game. Rams have had probably a good 2 minutes of possession there, uninterrupted. Hickson just copped it a little bit late, but well, I think he's okay. He's back up. I don't think we're in for a high-scoring affair this afternoon. As I mentioned earlier, we saw these sides play out a 16-all draw at Greenway earlier in the year. 32 points in total in that game. 28 of them were scored in the first 40. So there hasn't been a lot of action over the stripe for either of these sides in now their last 50 minutes of playing against each other. Going to the right through Tautai. He's over halfway. And Mitwari picks it up and runs from dummy half. Very close to the sideline. Over the sideline for mine. No, referee, touch judge says no. Got the ball away. So going back to Brophy. I think it is Brophy. Running from dummy half now is Mitchell. 7 tries so far for the season for him. Lost the ball, turned it over. So Jesse Tors tries to get out of the danger zone, and he does get out of the danger zone. If he can get past one more, the field might just open up for him. He can't get past Brent Wallace. Wallace drags him down on the 40. Other side of halfway, though. Good territory. So the Rams need a little bit of luck. And a lot more of it over the rest of the season, but they are playing to stay alive here. Referees had a call from the touch judge. Interference in the play of the ball. And it is a penalty for the Woden Valley Rams. You'll see it here. There's just too many hands in there. A little hand does come down. Yeah, a little hand comes down in there. And Rams elect not to kick. They run it up through Pryor. Pryor loses the ball and he has lost it forward. He's run straight into his tackling opposite and just loses the ball. Well, that has, I think you can safely say, for the Rams, really been the tale of the season for them. So many times they've got into good attacking positions and just lost the ball. You see here, he comes up and just loses it back, loses it forward into an opposition player, and the ball goes to ground. Got to hang on to that pill. I've said it so many times about the Rams this season. They're a side that's capable of playing such attractive football at times. Sometimes they do the simple things and just don't get it right. The big man, Mikey Uluakiola, he's only scored one try for the season. It was earlier this year against the Woden Valley Rams. It was on Bar TV, and it is worth checking it out on the highlights package if you get the chance, because the big man did enjoy scoring it. Great to see him out there. Mitchell running it forward now before he offloads to Hickson. I think, no, it wasn't Hickson. He offloaded in there. Rams effectively slowing the play down with Tupu. Now across to the left through Henson. Henson again goes for the low kick. Tors gets down, picks it up. Sends someone somersaulting over the top of him, loses the ball. Pollard picks it up for the Bushrangers. Oh, big pressure coming on the Rams here as the Bushrangers charge for the line through Mitchell. He's only a metre short. Now in Vadabuli, picks it up, dives over the line from dummy half and scores the try under the posts. Timothy Vadabuli scoring for the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. It's doing the simple things and doing them well. That's what's kept them in contention here in this Canberra Raiders Cup competition for 2017. And one of the things that you really do want to do is to take your tries when you get the opportunity. You see here, Mitchell, he's tackled, just a little bit slow getting into the defence. It was Gilmore. Gilmore went out to defend around outside the post. Would have been better served to have gone in as a second marker. Smart play from Tim Vadabuli. In fact, as he moved in, he signalled across to the right. And I just wonder whether a couple of the Rams defenders were sucked in by it. And did I see Liam Murphy was perhaps not quite looking in the right direction there as well? Bit of a communication breakdown for the Rams. But Vadabuli has the first try of the game, and this one should be a fairly easy conversion for Josh Mitchell. As you can see, he's right in front. They don't get much easier than that from 10 metres out, and he puts it over for the extras. 12 minutes gone, and we have our first try of the day, and that is scored by Timothy Vadabuli. The conversion, as usual, comes from the boot of Josh Mitchell, and it's 6-0.
Downside. Thank you very much.
So we're back into play, way down the other end. Vadabuli having scored the try. Retrieved the kickoff, passed it over to Tupu. And Tupu made a fairly comfortable 20 metres. Just really hope we don't see Woden drop their heads here. Like I said, a few people I spoke to before this game, it was almost as though they were resigned to their season being over. And if they drop their heads, this game has the potential to get very ugly in the scoreline very, very quickly. It was Dane Ewings charging it up on the 5th, so I get now through to Tors. Now what can he do? Man does not know when to say die, Jesse Tors. Gets the ball up to the 30-metre line. Across to the right through Geiger. Geiger's only scored 2 tries this season. Unlucky that he hasn't scored more. They give it across to McGee. It's been a real focal point in the Rams' attack. Up over halfway. Now it's to Jeff Morgan. Morgan makes 15 metres. I think that's 4. Now the big push from Pryor. How close can he get them to the 20? He's actually bundled back. Ewings has been impressive early. Last tackle kick comes from Jack Hickson. Over towards the corner. That's a good place to put it because the sun, as you saw there, potentially an issue. Winger on the far side putting the hand up to shield his eyes. Still caught it okay. It's going to get worse over there this afternoon, I can tell you that. Vadabuli running it up now, the fullback. It's the 30-metre line he's been tackled on. Flops forward another metre or so in the tackle. It's Tupu. Now it's Uluakiola. Good ball from him. Found if Afamui. Afamui had Pollard on his outside, but needed just another half a second to get the pass away. Couldn't get it. Now Henson's put that up high. He's been flattened after he's kicked it. Tors has made a meal of it on the ground. It's with Mitchell. Mitchell gets up, gets out of the ankle tack, gets another one. Well, play continues. Mitwari is running through. Henson, who was flattened before, has got himself up. Ball goes to ground, comes off the ankles of a Bushrangers player. It was Tautai, I think, who lost control of it. Diving on it is Tom Hicks, I think, and the Rams live to breathe again. But wow, that was trouble. Now that's with Pryor. Need to get the ball out from this end of the ground to the Rams. And they need to hang on to it when they do get it out of there. Run from dummy half, gets up to 45. You can see this ground has really copped a beating from some of the savage frost we've had here in Canberra. There's dust coming up. It's very, very dry and hard. Gilmore offloads to Hickson. Jack Hickson. He's got it to... Still going. With Josh Feeney it was. They give it back to Carroll. Carroll puts it up long, deep, and well, out on the full. So coming a long way back to the 20. No one's retrieved that ball. It's sitting over on the fence line behind the goals. Have we got another one out there somewhere? Not as yet. We actually don't have a football out there. We don't have a football. One comes in now, and one comes in from the other side. It's just like buses. You don't have one, and then half an hour later, they turn up in multiples. Uluakiola takes one of the balls. The other one's been dispatched to the side of the field. Uluakiola takes it up to 25. Bouncing into tackles. Good tackle from Carroll and Sean Maloney. Haven't called Maloney much as yet today. Good to see him getting involved in defensive. He's not seeing much of it in attack. Daniel Hickson. Midwari with the dummy, gives it across to Ewings. Now he finds Tautai. Tautai up over the halfway line. Wait, Ewings. Again, little hop and a skip and a jump. They put the ball back. It's Mitchell. Plenty of chances for someone big to get involved, and the big man is Uluakiola. Across to the right now, through Henson. Ball back inside. It's knocked down there by Sean Maloney, so that'll be a knock-on against the Rams. It'll be a feed on the 40-metre line in attacking territory for the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. Approaching the midpoint of this first half here at Phillip Enclosed Oval. If you have just joined us, you've missed a really interesting first 20 minutes. The Rams had a spell between about 5 and 7.5 minutes where they had all the possession, and most of that was inside the opposition 30. Couldn't do anything with it, and then 5 minutes later, the Bushrangers with a very opportunistic try, courtesy of Vadabuli diving over from dummy half. And going into attack once again, it's the Bushrangers, this time through Brent Wallace. He's still going, and he's still pushing up inside the 20. I think they sit up across to the right this time. They are. No, they swing it the other way to left. Mitwari onto Henson. Henson gives it to Afamui. Afamui ducks out of one. Brought to ground by Cleve McGee. McGee's been one of the best for the Rams this season, both in attack and defence. They go across to the right. Henson hands it off to Matt Dragicic, who's in off the bench now. And Dragicic may have milked it a little bit. May have accentuated the contact from the Rams, but they've got the penalty. And the Bushrangers, I talked about Woden's for and against earlier being -98. The Bushies need to get a few more points on theirs as well, just to give themselves any buffer, an increased buffer if it does come down to that, although they do have the odd number of points. As we see Ewings, he's gone through high, spun around. Oh wow, he spun around and grounded that. That'll be good to watch again. He's a man we spoke about earlier in the day, Dane Ewings. He's played in virtually every position this season for the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. Hasn't done a lot for him in terms of getting his name in the scorebook. Just the one try before today, so he's got the second one. I don't recall the first one. Don't get to see every game in the Canberra Raiders Cup, just selected fixtures. But it wouldn't have been this spectacular. Great little ball back on the inside. As you see, he's taken high, tries to get the ball down to his right. It's then slung around in the tackle by Jeff Morgan and one other. They've made a great effort to try and tackle him, but his momentum has enabled Dane Ewings to get the ball down, and again a very easy conversion coming up for Josh Mitchell from right in front of the posts. 10-0, kick to come. And the easy conversion is completed. Makes it 12 points to 0 in favour of the visiting side, midpoint of the first half. And, well, we were missing a ball before for a restart. Now we're missing a tee. Referee hasn't called time off. Clock continues to tick. As things stand, our game clock and the scoreboard clock are in sync at the moment. So 21 and 20 you can see on your screen there. And now we have called time off for about 10 seconds. So spoke too soon, didn't I? And a bully takes the restart. Across to the left again. I'm starting to be very impressed by Timothy Vadabuli. Showing plenty of willingness to get involved, as is this man, Uluwakiola. Takes a couple with him, another couple of metres, has nobody to play it back to. Mitchell eventually gets there. He's driven back in the tackle, just on the halfway line. Holding up and holding up. Now it's with Mitwari. Mitwari over the halfway, spun around once, spun around a second time. Goes to ground on the third time. It's almost like the drowning man, isn't it? Puts his hand up once, puts his hand up twice, and then he goes to ground. Mitwari. Long ball, back to Henson. Henson goes high, tours underneath it. Waits and waits, takes it just outside his own 10. Gets up over the 20 before he's wrapped up by Dragicic and Henson in the tackle. So Henson doing a good job to chase his own kick upfield. And across to the right, to the left of the Rams, this time through Liam Murphy. Murphy was a late inclusion in this side. Johnson was originally named the 2. Change was made though, Johnson staying in reserve grade for another game. Now they're across to the right and across to the right. This is better play from the Rams. As soon as I say that, Sean Maloney puts the ball down. It was just a good play. They got the ball, made a good 10 metres. 15 metres with plenty of passes, as we see Uluwakiola bounce out of one, bounce out of the second. And again, that's been the Rams this season. They start to do something good and then they put the ball down. It's just happened so many times. It's with Ewings now. He gets the ball away, finds Mitchell. Mitchell stepping and stepping. No real intensity to tackle before Tom Hicks takes the bit between the teeth and wraps him up in a bear hug. Ewings in a dummy half, gives it across to Henson. Henson now finds Mitwari. Fullback Vatabouli. Vatabouli's still going. Now, it looks like there's been a change for the Rams there. I think that might be Charlie Hallamon making the tackle in the headgear. So across to the left of the Bushrangers. Through Brent Wallace. Mentioned him as a player to watch earlier in the game. Real workhorse for them. Mitchell gives it to Ewings. He's got one. Chasing the double. Wrapped up just short of the line. Last tackle. Drankosic on the left. A couple of other players running across to stack that left side. Henson puts the boot to the ball. Fielded by Tors, I think it was in there. It was indeed. Gets back into the field of play. Very congested part of the park at the moment. Flipped over in the tackle now. Just a bit of push and shove going on there between Cleveland McGee and a couple of others behind the play. Just keeping an eye on that at the minute because they've spread out now, so it's all okay. Liam Murphy goes for a charge. Someone's lost a shoe in there. It's just seen it thrown back into the field of play. Right, was that Feeney this time? I think it might have been. No, it was the other one. It was Hickson, Jack Hickson. Yeah, good kick, gets over the head of Vatabouli, then turns to the left, and then unfortunately for the Rams, it goes dead in goal. It was a good kick, made Vatabouli turn around and chase. Had it sat up as opposed to spinning off to the side, may well have been a different outcome. As it is, we've got 15 to go till the break. And a 12-point game. The Rams probably need to score next. Otherwise, you get the feeling their heads may just drop. Quinn Cannon's come on now. That's him in the 17. He's also in the headgear, so a couple of players in headgear now. Once again, Mitchell in a dummy half. He goes for the kick. Now that's interesting. It's actually Josh Feeney's put the headgear on. So it's not Charlie Hallam out there. Feeney was not wearing his headgear earlier in the number 4. Now he is. I love it when you get a player put the headgear on or something during the course of a game. And now we've got a whistle. It's about time, says one of the Woden fans. I tell you, I do enjoy coming to Woden to call these games at Phillip. Where we sit, we're not in the commentary box, we're out in the open air. We can hear plenty of interaction and cheering and jeering from the crowd. So you can see there, just not getting clear. Who me, sir? Who me, sir? Yes, you, son. And penalty goes. So they made plenty of metres. You've missed just one play on the replay, but that's with Leapai out there for his first touch. I think Leapai gets up to the 20, now towards the 10. He looks behind, needs to hang on to it. That's where Woden have come undone on a couple of occasions this season. Gilmore with try number 8 for the year right next to the posts. Said Woden needed to score next to get back into it, and you can put a lot of that one down to Ron Leapai, who's come in off the bench. He's done a lot of heavy lifting for them, has Ron Leapai, during the course of this season.
Thank you so much.
And I think we can safely say that he should get some points for the assist in there, strictly speaking. And you see, he just got him into such a good position. And there, charging over from about 10 metres out, is Michael Gilmore. And that was nicely done. And well, the defensive effort there from Quinn Cannon could have possibly been a little bit better. But again, Michael Gilmore, he knows how to find his way to the stripe. And he's done precisely that. Now, who is kicking the goals for the Woden Valley Rams today? Because normally it's Carl Johnson. It's probably Cleve McGee. Nope. Jaden Carroll. Jaden Carroll has precisely 0 points for the Woden Valley Rams so far this season. He'll get his first points here, you would imagine, as time off is called with the ball falling off the tee. time back on. We'll get there eventually. Time off again. Oh, it's off again, on again football. And on again as the kick is taken and the conversion is made. 12 points to 6, the home side pulling it back. 6 points the difference. We've got about 12 minutes remaining till the break. So our game clock is pretty close. A reminder though that the game clock you see on Bar TV here in the Canberra Raiders Cup is not necessarily in touch with the official game clock. It is there as a guide for you. We've got it pretty close. That was an interesting attempt from the Bushies to try and retrieve their own kickoff. Charging up, Dragizic was in there, but they were unable to hang on to it and eventually resulted in a knock on. The very high kickoff, don't see that terribly often. So the Rams at the feed, they give it to McGee. Cleve McGee, he's pushing and shoving. It takes 3 of them to bring him down. So they're across to the left. Is that Luke Johnson who's come on? I think it is. It is. So he's on off the bench. Go across to the left again. Oh, good little ball. Dan Pryor it was who was the recipient. Referee had spotted it as a forward pass. I thought it was a good little ball. Let's have a check on this on the replay. Well, I can see why he's called it, but gee, I've seen worse than that let go as well. So, but he's the man on the spot. I'm 60 metres away from that, and I'm slightly forward of it in the grandstand. So let's just let it roll on. It'll be a feed to Tuggeranong. It's funny though when you get this far into a season and your luck hasn't been great through the course of the season, that it starts to have a cumulative effect. Afamui for the Bushrangers. It's the 30 you can see off to the left of him. Cannon has multiple options, eventually decides to give it to Tupu. Now it's Uluakiola. Breaks through the tackle. An ankle is held onto and the call of held is made. That's another of the bench players in Dragizic. Across to the left through Henson. He gives it to Tupu. Tupu going for the line. He's on his back. He might have got it down on his way through. Referee checks with the touchies and says, yep, 4 points. So let's check this out. Must have got the ball down before being rolled onto his back. And if that's the case, that's a pretty decent effort from Tupu. Seeing the bench players proving some impact here. Tupu pushes. The bench players were in the impact on the lead up. Oh, he gets the ball down before he's rolled over. Yeah, good work from Dragizic and Cannon in the lead up. Nice little ball from Blake Henson there before Tupu got it down. And there we go. We're up to 32 minutes. And just when the Rams were looking to have cut the lead, it's only taken 4 minutes for it to be restored back to double digits. (16-6) at the moment, and Quinlan Cannon with the conversion, and that's all she wrote. 18 points to 6. 7.5 remaining before half time. So We're back in action. Just the one tackle. Pushing your way out through Vadabuli. Offloads to Quinn Cannon. Well, if not for Cleve McGee, he was off to the races. They go left through Uluwakiola. They've got an overlap. Can't use it. Afamui, he's brought down eventually, and that's got to be a penalty. I know Michael Geiger couldn't go anywhere, couldn't just make himself invisible or disappear into the earth, but it wound up being sloppy. Interference in the play of the ball. Penalty is called. And the Bushrangers, with 6 left on the clock and a 12-point lead. Well, where do they go now? Cannon, Uluwakiola, pushing and pushing and pushing, takes 2 with him. Down to the 10. Cannon again, now Tupu. Which way do they go? They go the right, then back to the left. That switch of play. Afamui is ready for it, you thought, but he couldn't quite hang on to it. Loses it forward. Woden Valley Rams, they get to breathe again. So it'll be a scrum, 10 metres out from their own line. Need to get some more points on the board here. A pretty tough day at the office for the Rams so far. Where do they go? Feeney comes in. He runs from dummy half. He put the headgear on. Makes him very easy to spot, and we've hardly seen him since then. He's up to the 25. Push and shove and go. Gilmore again. Still Gilmore. Up to the 40. Over the 40. Still waiting for the call of hold. Well, he's finally brought to ground is Gilmore. Rest of the defensive line's been able to get itself set. Dan Pryor. Pryor up over the halfway line. Tuggeranong taking forever in the tackles. Leapai. It's up to the 40. Kick comes from Hickson. That's Jack Hickson. Well taken by Vadabuli. Puts it over to the outside. Oh, trouble. Big trouble. Good wrap up. Vadabuli again. Just making metres to burn of the Bushrangers. Vadabuli. They come across to the left again. This time through Tautai. Cannon in a dummy half. Further across to the left through Henson. Now it's on to Tupu. One of the try scorers. Henson. Very flat ball to Dragizic. Dragizic tackled on the 20. That's the last. For the kicker, here comes Henson. His kick is slipped catch. Well, taken on the half volley. I'd love to see that again if we can. Referees called it a knock on. It was certainly on the half volley. The question is, did he get on top of it and take it, or did it just get away from him? Let's see what we can pick up. Henson, it's a really, really sharp kick, and it's just out of frame for us there. So, again, referee, man on the spot. So, certainly taken on the half volley. Was it taken cleanly on the half volley? I couldn't tell you. Ironically, from right where I'm sitting, there is a camera stay right in front, literally in front of where that was taken. Bushies with the ball again and knocked on by Afamui. So the Woden Valley fans, who perhaps not exactly happy with the knock-on call in there, well, they'll be feeling there is some justice, some karma, as the Bushies knock it on straight off the base of the scrum through Isiali Afamui. With about 2.5 to go till the break, the Rams will be able to at least try to get the ball out of the other end of the ground. Oh, you've got to keep an eye on it. Jaden Carroll didn't do that. Opposite number Blake Henson did. And it nearly wound up being would have just been one of the more bizarre turnovers of possession. And trust me, Woden Valley this season have found some very bizarre ways to turn over possession. Now Hickson needs to inject himself in the game more. There's Hickson. Gave it to Brad Pryor there, but I'd really like to see more from Hickson. I don't recall calling him in too many successive sets, but he's got involved there, giving it to Gilmore. Gilmore's up over the halfway line, and he gets the penalty. So with about a minute and a half to go here before the break, the Rams can get the ball right down. They need a long kick here. Don't muck around, Carroll. Get it a long way down. Probably could have got himself another 5 or 10 there. Instead, they're going to start 25 out. Let's see what they can do. Feeney with the tap. Gives it to Dan Pryor. Pryor up over the 20. Towards the 15. Leapai waiting. Gets the ball at speed inside the 10. Still standing. 70 seconds before half time. Leapai plays the ball. Running it from dummy half is Hicks. As he gets towards the line, he's over the line. He's pushed back into the field of play. He loses the ball. It's taken by Vadabuli. Little skip. Looking to try and get away. Finally wrapped up. I've said it before, the Rams have found some truly bizarre ways to lose possession of the football, and they've done it again. Now the Bushrangers, with 40 seconds left, they've got a real chance to rub salt into an open wound here. What's helping them here is the fact that the ball, as one's been kicked away, and the ball boy is taking a long time to get it to the field of play. So, Cannon with a quick tap, gives it to Dragicic. Over the 30. 20 seconds remaining. They've got time for 4 plays, maybe. Which way do they go? Long ball to Henson. Henson puts the kick in. He's got Pollard on his outside, picked up there off the ground by Geiger. And with 6 seconds remaining, Geiger will be wrapped up. There might be time for one more play of the ball. As long as nobody loses it in possession there. The bell gets rung and it's half time. And after a series of bizarre events, we've wound up with a half-time score of 18 points to 6 in favour of the visiting side, the Tuggeranong Bushrangers over the Woden Valley Rams. If you haven't been with us for the first half here, quick recap of how this has all played out. So it's been 3 tries to 1, 18-6 as you'd expect. The first try came to the Bushrangers by Vadabuli. He dived over from dummy half under the post. That was easily converted. Second try was one of the more spectacular plantings of the ball we've seen. It was Ewing's. He was tackled, but he wasn't wrapped up. And he was spun around, ball got down. And again, it was under the posts. And after 20 minutes, it was 12-0 to the visiting side and potentially getting very ugly for them. The Rams did, however, strike back a few minutes later. 28 minutes gone. It was a try to Gilmore. He has been a try machine for them this season. That was his 8th try for the season. He ran it over from about 10 metres out, bustling through a couple of tackles. It was a good run from Ron Leapai that had set that up. That try was converted again from just next to the posts. 12 points to 6 was the score at that stage. But the Bushrangers, they bounced back almost immediately. Tupu scoring, charging over from about 7 metres out. It had come from a switch play by Henson. And it followed some, let's say some good lead-up play from a couple of bench players from the Bushrangers in Matt Dragicic and Quinlan Cannon before Tupu scored the try. It was converted. It was probably the hardest conversion of the day. And I won't say it was a hard conversion. It was just the hardest conversion because it was about maybe 10 metres to the side of the posts. 18 points to 6. The score was at 32 minutes. It remains 18 points to 6 here at half-time. The Rams with a lot of work to do if they want to keep their season alive. The Bushrangers, well, they're looking to win today to keep within 1 point of West Belconnen. And the Bushrangers are playing West Belconnen next week in what could be a virtual semi-final playoff. John Crowder from the Canberra Raiders has made the trek a long way up the stairs to here. Are you up for a quick chat, John? You're sucking in a few of the big ones there?
Yeah, sucking a few big ones. I was, had to run the length of the field just before that too, so a little bit tired, but yeah, up for a chat, definitely.
Well, John, it's been the story of the season for the Woden Valley Rams. Ball security. It has cost them time and time again during this 2017 Canberra Raiders Cup competition. And today, they really butchered at the end of that first half a try-scoring opportunity where Hicks was over the line and couldn't hang on to the ball. I can think of another 2 or 3 occasions where they've had the ball in good position and they've just handed it over to the opposition, and they paid the price for it. They go in 12 points down at the break.
Yeah, exactly. They've struggled with ball security, as you said, and I think today they've just lacked a bit of. I don't know, their last tackle options have been pretty poor. Their kicking game hasn't quite been right either. So I don't know if it's the fact that they know the season's over, or if it's just an off day, because they're looking quite dangerous when they're running hard through the middle. But we've seen that throughout the season. They have moments where like Pryor, Hicks, Ron Leapai had a great run just before Michael Gilmore's try as well.
And they got a dividend for that, with Leapai really charging forward. But, I'd like to see more of Josh Feeney. I'd like to see more of Cleve McGee. I mean, McGee's been there, but, it's those guys in the centres that they need more from. And I'm trying to think, did we see any real softening up there from the Rams, from their forwards, from your Maloneys, from Morgan, from Brad Pryor, from Tom Hicks, maybe a bit from Brad Pryor, but, Moala, when haven't seen as much from him as perhaps we'd like to either. I just think that they are lacking a little bit in intensity this afternoon.
Yeah, I think they are, and Tuggeranong have made them pay. But I think in Woden's favour, to be honest, I don't think the score should be this close from what we've seen. So that's something positive that they can grab from half time, and we'll see what happens. But Tuggeranong have been really good, and I think they deserve a bit more of a lead than what they've got. Josh Mitchell's been fantastic. Some of his kicking game has been pretty much the opposite of what Woden have been providing. He's really controlled the game quite nicely, and we've seen Tupou for Tuggeranong. He's been really good. Dane Ewings, he can just do a job anywhere, and Uli Kiola as well. He's been fantastic, and Brent Wallace he's just been cleaning up the ruck. He's tackling hard. Not so much in attack, but he's really keeping everything nice and tidy for Tuggeranong.
Let's throw one more name in there, Timothy Badabuli, the fullback for Tuggeranong. Every set, the ball, Woden are going to stop kicking to him. They had one kick that went over his head and bounced out and went left and spun out over the sideline in goal, but otherwise they've kicked it almost straight to Badabuli every time. And he is just such a dangerous player. You kick it to him, he takes it on the full, you're giving him 10 or 15 metres off the bat almost every time. They've got to kick it away from him because he gives them just such a good foundation, first tackle every set.
Yeah, and he goes looking for work too. He's a real workhorse, which is what you want to see from your fullback. But also, I was just watching him, even without the ball, just watching his organisation, and he's just organising his wingers really well, communicating to Brendan Brophy out on his right edge, and also even just telling the forwards, he's really bossing everything around. And for such a young player, that's a really impressive trait.
Indeed it is. We'll take a break here for the next few minutes at this Osbreakers Canberra Raiders Cup Round 15 game, where at half-time it is the visiting side, the Tuggeranong Bushrangers, leading the Woden Valley Rams by 18 points to 6. Back with the second half in a couple of minutes. Second half about to get underway in the Osbrokers Canberra Raiders Cup Round 15 affair between the Woden Valley Rams playing for survival in the Canberra Raiders Cup for 2017. The Bushrangers, well, no team can afford a loss. The Bushrangers can afford a loss more than Woden can. If Woden lose today, bearing in mind who they've got in the next 2 weeks, you can write them off for the remainder of the season. The Bushrangers have a softer draw. Do need to win today, though, to stay 1 point behind the West Belconnen Warriors. West Belconnen are their opponents next week, so obviously the winner of that game in a much better position with only a couple of weeks remaining before the finals. We're about to get underway. Deep kick-off from the Rams. And the Bushrangers, well, good defence to start with. Josh Feeney and a couple of others. Jack Hickson, another one in there. And Michael Gilmore greeting Quinn Cannon and wrapping him up. So good start from the Rams. And now an even bigger start as they push Bullock back in the tackle. So the Bushies, well, they've made plenty of metres in the first half fairly easily. Maybe this is the Rams in their last throw of the dice. So Goulburn in the other game have beaten the Gungahlin Bulls 48 points to 22. And a result that I don't think is going to have any impact on the finals at all. But and yes, Goulburn 48, Gungahlin 22. And this is the last game in the round 15. That's why we've got this delay with the player down injured. Clock has been stopped. Oh, it just I think his head's actually hit the ground on the way down there. There's no contact between players. He's just the head on the ground. Now, trying to work out who it is. I can't tell you. I did say earlier that the ground is very, very hard. And he's up. And of course, just as he sits up, the Rams trainer doing all the right things getting behind him. So it is Cleve McGee. So Cleve McGee shaken, hopefully not stirred in the James Bond line. He's up. He's going back into the attacking line. We have an HIA protocol in the Canberra Raiders Cup. When a player hits his head on the ground, I don't know. Anyway. See, the kick for touch comes from the Bushrangers' Blake Henson. And they're into attacking territory. Tap goes to Ulu Akiola. And the big man charges straight at a couple of forwards from the Rams. Now it's with Dragizic. So you've got three of the bench players have had some time for the Bushrangers. Liam Oakley, the only one not to see game time as yet. Midwari onto Vadabuli. A little ball out of the back of the hand to Tautai. Tautai had Brophy on his outside but couldn't use him. Midwari again. The shadows of the grandstand. 10 out. Cannon had Ewings running a dummy run at him. He goes across to Hanson. A couple of long balls, and it's with Ulu Akiola. He puts it into the path of Pollard, but too far ahead of Pollard. The ball goes into touch. And we'll see the scrum pack down. About 15 out, and the Rams will have the feed well in their own half. Just repeating that score from the other game this afternoon. Goulburn 48, Gungahlin 22. Yesterday the Blues beat Yass 52-6. West Belconnen beat Belconnen United 60-0. So to coin a line from radio coverage of sport back in the 70s. We've got the close one for you this afternoon here on Bar TV. A bit of shuffling going on. The clock continues to tick here. Not sure what's going on out there. Someone's planning a dinner party, perhaps. Clock has stopped. And so McGee's coming off. Is that McGee? No, it's the other big fella. Pryor coming off. So you can't see him. He's well out of the wide shot as well. In the hands of the trainer. So wondering whether there's a bit of blood. Something else going on. So finally back on. And it's the Rams with the ball through Liam Murphy. Haven't seen as much of him as I'd like to see today. Come across to the left. Now it's with Feeney. Feeney lifted up, spun around in the tackle. It's almost the 1970s DJ stuff there, the way he was spun around. Now it's with Brad Pryor. Push and shove. They're across to the right. Leapai looking towards the halfway line. Pryor waiting to the left. They go to the right. And now back to the left through Tors. Fullback getting himself into the thick of the play. Ball goes to the air. What can they do here? They've got to try to do something different, and something different indeed. Charge up straight off the back of it. Vanabuli takes it. And I mentioned in the break that he'd been allowed to make far too many yards on kick returns. He's wrapped up very quickly there, as was, well, he's still going, is Brophy, but Feeney doing a mountain of work in there on the attack, as was Brad Pryor on defence. And they're still going. The Rams, other in defence. They're pushing up and pushing up. This is much better defence from this Woden Valley side to start the second half. Gilmore getting in on it, as is Jack Hickson. So it was McMurray who was trying to get through. He couldn't. Now gets the ball free. Bouncing out of it. Again, just see this ferocious defence from the Bushrangers. That time wrapping up, on the Bushrangers, I should say, wrapping up Wallace. Now it's with Bullock. He's up over halfway, but they're not getting anywhere near the leeway to run that they had in the first half. Hanson with another low trajectory kick. It's down to the far side of the field. Geiger, it was who retrieved it. Still going is Michael Geiger. He's got up to 35 metres out, so that's a good starting point. From one winger, closer to the other winger at dummy half, and Liam Murphy up over the 40. And they give it to Luke Johnson, looking to get to the halfway. And a big puff of dust in the middle of the ground. And he goes to ground. They go to the right. Leapai still going. Leapai gets through. He's only got one man to beat. Does he go left? Does he go right? He goes to the right, and he gets the ball down under the post. It's a try from 50 metres out for Ron Leapai. He's been a workhorse for the Rams this season. He's only scored one try. He's got his second for the day. And it was certainly a long-range effort. This will be great to watch on replay. He set one up with a scything run in the first half. And now with a bigger running effort, he scored one himself. 18-10 with the kick to come. It was nice work from Ron Leapai. They're waiting for a kicking tee to be brought out there. What can you say about that? Not much else you need to say. Leapai gets the ball from dummy half, breaks through the defence. I wouldn't even say it was any lacklustre defence either. He just got through, and suddenly it was almost, Almost as though he was like a leopard that had been bred in captivity in the zoo. One day wakes up and finds himself on the African savannah and there's just nothing but open spaces in front of him. Leopai just set forward into them. And a very easy conversion. They've all been easy conversions to date. Plenty of tries scored right up the middle. And Jaden Carroll now has his second conversion. Not just his second conversion of the day, his second conversion of the season. And we're back to a 6-point game. Well, I thought it was going to be a close one today, and oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, I don't know what else to say other than, oh dear, Michael Geiger. I think he had probably worse words to say than oh dear as he's put that one down. We mentioned the sun in the first half. It is now lower in the sky, and yeah, I think he's just completely lost sight of that. Absolutely filthy with himself. So, well, the last time the Rams scored, it took the Bushrangers all of 4 minutes to return the favour. And they've got a pretty good opportunity to do it this time. Taking it forward for them is Daniel Hickson. That is the goal line, you can see right there. They switched the play. They've been good at that today. Uluwakiola goes towards the line, wrapped up a metre out. Right in the corner of the field. Taking their time. It's with Henson. Now to Afamui. Afamui still going. As the halfback Mitwari. Back to the fullback in Vadabuli. Vadabuli puts it down. A few rounds of applause in there from the Woden Valley Rams. They know how important it was to not allow the Bushrangers to score there, and really Vadabuli, I just don't know if he was ready for it. I've seen a lot of these little run to the right and pass back on the inside to the left plays from the Bushrangers, and indeed vice versa, and I just don't know if Vadabuli was expecting that ball from Kota Mitwari. So the Rams off the scrum with Sean Maloney. And taking it is Luke Johnson. A reminder, no Carl Johnson playing for Woden Valley today, so just the one Johnson. And there's Tom Hicks. That's going to be fun if Hicks and Johnson decide to alternate at dummy half. They're both very hard to pick apart other than their boots. It's a bit easier when they're in the shade. And Leopai, a try scorer. Haven't been able to say that too much this season. Takes it up towards the 40-metre line. And they kick downfield. And that's better, again, not kicking directly to Vadabuli. They kick it between him and the winger. Pollard has to think about it. Finally retrieves it off his own chest. But he's wrapped up in a tackle. Hit hard in that tackle by three players. Ball spills free. Picked up there by Hicks. Tom Hicks right in front of the post. And again, don't kick it straight to the opposition fullback. It's funny what can happen. Very sloppy play the ball. Very sloppy. Penalty. Interference in the play of the ball. That's why it was so sloppy. Now the Rams have got 6 tackles from directly in front of the post. How many will they need to level this game up if they can? Brad Pryor, he's only a metre out. Takes a mountain to stop that man. Across to the left. Now it's with Torres. Torres still going. Slung in the jersey. Pops it out the back. Picked up by Feeney. Feeney runs infield. Back towards the posts. So they've gone back to the 12. Hicks. Gives it to Pryor. Dan Pryor. Numbers to the left. Rams go that way. Through Jack Hickson. Hickson towards the line. He's over the line. He rolls. Can he get the ball down? He's just pushed back into the field of play. They're only short, taking a long time to get off him, are the defenders. And it's with Gilmore. I don't know how he held on to that, but he's managed to get it down. Back-to-back tries for the Rams. We're going to have a tied ball game with the conversion successful. I'll tell you what, Gilmore knows how to score a try. He's got 7 before today. 2 today gives him 9 for the year. And he really did well to hold on to that. It was not the best of passes to him. It was high, it was off his shoulder. Have a look at this. It's high and up, and he's had a helping hand from Dane Ewings in defence. Ewings had come up from below it. Gilmore did well to hang on to it. I'll tell you what, I'll take back what I said about it not being the best of passes. It was the momentum of Dane Ewings in the tackle. Yeah, it was still a little bit high, but Ewings has come in. You can see him there, comes in underneath, and the ball comes up. Gilmore does incredibly well to hang on to that. And great situational awareness as well to actually get the ball down over the line, knowing where he was, because he was going backwards. So, good work, Michael Gilmore. His second try for the day. Jaden Carroll hadn't scored a point for the Rams before today this season. He's got 2 from 2. That looks pretty good. It just fades away to the right. So, he's 2 from 3. 18 points to 16. We've got 27 minutes remaining. And it'll be on for young and old here as the Rams, well, they're hanging on for their dear lives at the moment. So, the Rams, don't they look a different side now with a couple of tries back to back? They're up fast. Into the line, Leapai again. You can see Oakley on in 16. He's replaced Cannon. He's gone off. Now the Rams, they just need to play some sensible footy here. There's a long way to go into this game. Tors. What did I say? Need to play some sensible football. Pushed it one past too many. Tors, I think, trying to offload perhaps. And it's another turnover. Pollard, the beneficiary. Now it's Afamui. That's the 40. They come to the right. Uluakiola. Into the shadow again. That's the 30-metre line. You can see ahead of him. Goes with Tupu. Tupu up over the 20. Had nobody in his outside that he could pass to. If he had, I reckon he might have been able to get the ball away. Tupu, they go across to the right now through Henson. Put down by Liam Oakley. That'll be tough for him. I'm not even sure if he was playing in reserve grade, Oakley, today. Just dig out in the program and see whether he was down. I can't see him on the reserve grade list. So he's got a call up at, and I believe it was 2 o'clock or later this afternoon when it became known that John Papali was unavailable to play. And then Liam Oakley has been called up, has been sat on the bench for the first 54, 55 minutes of the game. And the first time the ball comes to him, he puts it down. Not one for the scrapbook, but still plenty of time for him to redeem himself. And right now it's the Rams with the ball. They're 2 points behind. They certainly have their tails up. Big charging run from Brad Pryor. Taken on the 40. Getting themselves set. This is much more traditional rugby league from this Rams side in the second half. They're using the forwards. I said this at half time, that they hadn't done much of it in the first half. They've done plenty of it in the second, and it's paying dividends. Again, they kick away from Vadabuli. And find Brophy, but he's wrapped up inside the 10. Again, amazing what a difference it makes when you don't give it to a fleet-of-foot fullback on the other side. This game completely different in complexion from what we saw in the first 40. Vadabuli. I think that's Geiger was the first man to him. Luke Johnson helping pushing towards the sideline. They come back on the inside. 3 tackles, net gain 6 metres. Now they get a bit of a push through. Uluakiola. A couple of the bigger men in defence, though, stop him in his tracks. They're only just outside their own 20. This is the 4th. And wrapped up inside the 30. Eventually wrapped up inside the 30. This is the last. And we saw a 40-20 in the women's game earlier today. Wonder if we'll get one of those here now. Big kick downfield from Henson. Gets down to the 30. Picked up by Jesse Tors. Now, Tors has got time to get some speed up and look for a gap. There is no gap. A line of 4 Bushrangers defenders wrap him up, including Daniel Hickson. Johnson. Into dummy half. Gave it away to Liam Murphy. Now it's Johnson again. This time as the receiver one off. Almost at halfway. Oh, the arm wrestle's on now. Now that'd be Charlie Hallam who's come on. So we haven't seen a lot of Hallam. I don't think we saw him at all in the first half. There he is again. And they're pushing forward through Gilmore. That's the 40. That's the last. Kick comes from Hickson. And again, it's nowhere near the fullback. This is clever. They've given it to Pollard. Pollard's a dangerous man, though. He steps out 1, steps out of 2. If it becomes a foot race, they won't catch him, but he steps back inside. He's lifted in the tackle, flattened on the halfway line. But he's a very dangerous man, is Pollard. If you're going to kick to him, you've got to wrap him up. Got a bully. He's made another 10 metres. Cross to the right. Through Tupu. Tupu not wrapped up. He charges towards the line. He gets the ball away to Ewings. Ewings loses the ball, but a penalty. Well. Interference. I think raffle hasn't been claimed. I didn't buy a ticket today. Let's have a look at this. Well, yeah, okay. Let's just get back to it. They come across to the right. Ball goes wild. Picked up by Brophy. Brophy charges back in. Mitchell. It's the 10 metre, no, it's the try line. You can see there's actually a bit of a ridge in the ground. They went for a walk across the ground earlier today. I didn't realise there's quite a sizable ridge in that corner, which makes it interesting to defend. Now Henson. So they've been pushed back a good 15 metres, directly in front of the posts now. The visitors. Mitchell goes left, gives it to Ewings. Ewings pushes, gives it to Batabouli. Batabouli looking for a way over in the corner. Plenty of blue and gold defence. They've carried him back 15 metres. Ball comes free. Eventually picked up. Not sure who's grabbed hold of it. But he's coming across at great speed across the ground. It's Afamui. Gives it to Tautai. Tautai, if he can get it out the back, there could be trouble here. Brophy, but he's given it back to Tautai. I thought he'd gone into touch. Tautai still going. Still going, he's at the line, he's short of the line, last tackle called. Well, it's just bizarre what you're seeing now, a knock on right at the goal line by Brent Wallace. So, being the last tackle, it'll be a turnover, a handover, and it'll take place 10 metres out. Well, we've seen so much excitement in close through the course of this game. We've also seen some vigorous defence, and Jesse Tors there, the beneficiary of a light wrap around the chops as he was very low in the tackle, and the arm came in just a smidgen high. Letter of the law says that's a penalty, so the Rams able to get out from their own end of the ground. Up to the halfway line. Hallam. A completely renewed sense of purpose. I just wonder what kind of a spray was given to these Rams at half time, because as it play with pride, your season's on the line, that kind of stuff, because that's certainly how they are playing at the moment. Hallam looks like he's hurt himself in the tackle. That's with Jack Hickson. gives it to Gilmore. Gilmore's got 2 today. He spins around. Makes another 10 metres. He's still going. Wrapped up 12 out. That's Jack Hickson. Gives it to the big man in Brad Pryor. Pryor now 5 metres out. Last tackle. Tries to get the penalty. Doesn't get one. Little kick comes through. It's picked up off the ground by Mitwari. Mitwari, don't know what kind of pace he's got. Not enough to get through that very quickly closing gap. He's 15 out from his own line. 2 points the difference. 17 to go. It's the thriller at Phillip this afternoon. The ball's come through. Ball has come loose, but the referee calls it a strip. So with the relieving penalty, the Bushrangers don't kick it into the stands. The play will be, well, he's cribbed an extra metre there, has Wallace, and the referee spotted it, or the touch judge has spotted it. Good call, because he had snuck forward. So they bring it back into the Ewings. Ewings up to the 40. I'll tell you what, this first 20 minutes of this half's been about the best I've seen in the Canberra Raiders Cup this season. This has been fascinating football. Not quite clinical, but certainly about the most entertaining I've seen all season. So enthralling has it been that the original winner in the meat raffle didn't claim their prize. There we go. You see this ball come loose here as Liam Oakley just a little bit slow onto it. Now we've got time off. I'm not sure if is it a cramp? I don't know. It looks like it's oh, didn't know you could get time off for cramp. Apparently you can. I won't use the Ian Healy line to Arjuna Ranatunga from days gone by. You don't get a runner for being unfit, overweight, and something that you can't say on a family broadcast. Mitwari's back up. All is good. It'll be a feed by the Rams. I don't think the Rams will mind too much. They've got the ball, and that's Liam Murphy. Lifted a little in the tackle. Wallace gingerly puts him back on the ground. Plenty of bouncing in there from Tupu, from Moala rather. Tupu charging up on the defensive line. Now they come across to the left, and again, that's with Gilmore. We just need someone to do something that little bit special this Rams side, and something that'll look good. Here's Moala again. Up to the 20. Allen with a dummy half. Kick comes from Carroll. Puts it back across, and it's spilt by Jack Hickson. Straight into the arms of, I think it's Brent Wallace it is. Got to get up and be awake in defence, and they almost weren't. Rams can't afford to switch off here. There's only 2 points the difference. Almost tempted to say next score wins, you know. It's just got that kind of a feel to it, this game. You've seen Vadabouli. It's Wallace again in the bottom of that pack. A little bit of a facial assistance there from Feeney. It wasn't Wallace, it was actually Hickson. Daniel Hickson. There's Wallace. Wallace was looking for Tautai, couldn't get there. Dummy half says, please sir, can you get him off him? We need to play this ball. Now it's with Henson. Henson goes over to Afamui. Afamui like a hot knife through butter, and try time under the posts. There was no gap in the defence, and then suddenly it just opened up. And after they've done a welter of work in the first 20 minutes of this half, the Rams just wilting a little bit there. And you see the ball goes across. Long ball from the halfback, from Mitwari to Henson, onto Afamui. And they've managed to stretch that defence. You can't fault Jesse Torres for not making the tackle there. That was just too good from Isiali Afamui. So the Bushies, having conceded 2 tries and seen their 12-point lead cut to 6 and then to 4. No panic from them. And it has been a very, very easy day for the kickers, for the Tuggeranong Bushrangers. Josh Mitchell with that conversion. And it is 24-16. Bear in mind, these sides fought out a draw earlier in the year. Saying that I think that's where it's going to go today, but they certainly took it right down to the wire last time. We have 13 minutes remaining, or just shy of this time, as Carroll goes for the high kickoff. It lands on the 10-metre line. Oh dear, it's been put down. Oh dear. And Blake Hansen, after putting the long ball on that set up Isiali Mafamui, spent it before he had it there, I think. He watched it into his hands, and then just before it was wrapped up, I think he was looking for where he could pass it. So we've seen it happen earlier today where the Rams scored and the Bushies struck right back. Will it go in reverse? Let's see what Michael Gilmore can do. He gets the ball to the 10-metre line. Secondary tackle. A few people calling for a penalty. No dice, says the ref. Leopai up to about 2 metres out he'd be. Hallam at dummy half. He puts the kick through. Oh my goodness, he's gone the unexpected route. And there it is. The Rams strike back immediately on the 3rd tackle. So there was the restart, it was dropped, they got the scrum, and on the 3rd tackle, completely unexpected play from Charlie Hallam. Great vision. TRY try time. Just check this out. Hallam, he's completely suckered everybody except for the big man, Brad Pryor. Wonder if they've worked on that at training. There's no signal or anything for this. It's just, no, I'm dummy the pass. Brad Pryor going at not quite 1,000,000 miles an hour because I think he's too big to go that fast. And we're back to a 2-point game with 10 minutes to play. Gotta love this game. You've gotta love this game. And that's Brad Pryor's 2nd try for the season. Yeah, how often do you see a kick on the 3rd tackle? I'm being reminded that, yes, maybe at a higher level we've seen a few that didn't quite come off. Yeah, let's just leave it at that and move back to what's going on out here. But with just 10 minutes remaining in this game, 24-22 on the scoreboard. For the Rams, Luke Johnson, he's been effective since he came on, really has. Well, when sides have got nothing, when it's all or nothing, sides will do the extraordinary. Gilmore, he scored 2 today. Gets out of 1 tackle, gets out of the 2nd. If he can get past Ewings, he's close to home. Last tackle called here, and the penalty comes. And a good call from the referee. There's been a couple of those today. Holding on in the play of the ball. Well, this is interesting. I don't know if this is the right call. I really don't know if this is the right call. They're going to take the 2 from directly in front. What does that achieve? It levels the scores. in competition points terms, that would mean, okay, the Rams would go to 14. The Rams came into this game 3 points. So the Rams would go to 13. The Rams came into this game 3 points behind the Bushies. Splitting the points is really nothing for them, is it? Splitting the points doesn't achieve anything. Makes life difficult for the Bushrangers. Bushrangers came into this with 15 points. West Belconnen have 16 already, have 18. It really doesn't, I don't know what the purpose is there, unless it's just to keep the momentum on. Well, we've got, what, 8 minutes remaining. 8 minutes and 10 seconds on the game clock. We're going to see a field goal duel. I honestly hope we don't, because this game has been a cracker. This last 30 minutes has been fantastic to watch. Clock stopped. We're waiting for a tee out the middle. So 7:51 remaining in the game. I make a mention of it every game that our game clock on the screen is not official, but it's within about half a second of what's actually on the scoreboard out there. So, well, having said that, we are running a few seconds behind now at this point on that clock. Our clock has seemingly stalled, so you've got about 15 ahead out there in real time. Rams with the ball. Leapai was who brought it out. There was a little bit of drama in there. Nearly lost control of it behind the goalposts, but got it back. Hallam gives it to Tors. Jesse Tors up to the 35, nearly to the 40. Almost lost the ball when he was getting up there for mine, but held on to it. Jack Hickson running across field, gets under a high tackle from Dale Ewings, and the referee spotted it, and maybe he didn't get under it because he's certainly gone down. Now a bit of a push. Best thing that the Bushrangers can do here is just walk away, and the Rams players can walk away. Tors is okay, sitting up. Not Tors, it's Hickson who's actually been. Hickson gave it to. Tors gave it to Hickson. Hickson was tackled high. So Carroll can take the penalty. Now, how many metres does he go for? He's kicked from just outside the 40, and touch judge on the far side is right on the 40. So plenty of time left in this game. Rams are set very deep off to the left. Brad Pryor didn't go too far with that, and there's a very nasty clicking sound there. I heard that. That's not good. I heard something go click or pop in there. I hope we haven't seen the last of Brad Pryor, but I actually heard that from up here. And Pryor is clutching at his knee. He's, we'll see it here. He just goes in. It's just. Oh, you just. Oh, that you just don't want to see that. It's a knee. It's something with the knee there. So obviously the game clock has stopped, and that is the highs and lows of football, isn't it? Now, Brad Pryor, 7 minutes ago, scored one of the more interesting tries you'll see in football, where Hallam put that little grubber kick through, and he dived onto it, having charged in at speed, and now I heard it pop. I heard something pop, and the board's coming out. I don't think we need to go to close-up shots on this. We'll just let Pryor be taken off the field. He will get a big round of applause. It's going to make life very difficult for this side. Well, you're kidding me. He's not going to get up and play now. He's waved the board away. Well, if he can play on from here, this will be nothing short of remarkable. I heard it pop. Yeah, he's not going to play on, but I think he knows that he's done the knee. I think he knows that it's done. He's probably not going to play again for the season by the looks of that. So that's about showing your teammates. that you've got, that you can get up and walk off the field and hold your head high, and he can Brad Pryor. So one of the other big men from the Rams go off earlier, and I just wonder, are they now light on? Because the man coming on to replace Pryor was Tom Hicks. Okay, where do they go? Here's Hicks now. That's the 20. He's up to the 10. Plenty of fans for Tom Hicks in this crowd. He holds the ball up for a second. They give it across. They find Tors. Tors onto Feeney. Feeney's 5 metres out. Last tackle. They need a repeat set here. Grubber kick. Goes into the in-goal area. Oh, trouble and confusion, but he gets out, does Henson. Now it's with Vadabuli. Don't go to sleep, defence. They've got to get up and they've got to get the defence. The ball's come free. He's lost that. And the referee's called that a strip in there. I think that's a loose carry. The Bushrangers play on very quickly with the penalty to get it up to the 40-metre line. Now we've got 2 balls on the field of play. We won't get to see a replay on that because the ball's gone too far up the ground, but contentious call. We saw one late between these sides a couple of weeks ago. The view's been called behind us. There's actually someone watching on the replay saying they think it's fair enough, so there you go. Referee saw it from far closer than I did. Ball goes across to the left. Now it's with Ewings. Jigging and jiving in the tackle. Looks to offload, can't. Goes to ground. Now it's with Henson. Across to Uluakiola. He finds Pollard on the far side. Pollard. That's the 10-metre line encroaching. What have we got? Less than 5 to go. Do they work it to the centre and look for the field goal? Not yet. That's with Ewings, who's dropping back. It's on. Here comes Henson. It's a pretty ordinary looking kick. It goes to the left of the uprights and bounces dead in goal. Not the worst field goal attempt I've seen. We're going to get a couple of these now, I think. What do we got? 4 minutes left. There's probably time for another 2 each. Geiger gets it up to 25 out. They need to make a couple of passes. They're not going to get there by running one out, although they are making plenty of metres. That's Liam Murphy at the bottom of that pile. Daniel Hickson, one of the tacklers. That's Jack Hickson. Jack Hickson still going. That's the halfway line in front of him. It's not snow or frost on the ground, by the way. That's dust and dry earth you can see. Now it's Gilmore. That's 3. Hallam. Leapai still going. 37 out. That's 4 by my count. They need another couple of metres. And they'll get them too. Up inside the 30. Last tackle. They don't go for the field goal. They're looking for a repeat set. Ball goes way over to the far corner of the field. And in the end, a fairly innocuous handover of possession, but Tuggeranong with a long way to go. Got to tackle him. That's the first thing you got to do. Finally do, just outside the 10. 2:48 remaining on the game clock. Tuggeranong with a long way to go. They need to hold on to the ball as well. And ball security from the other side finally help the Woden Valley Rams this season, because they've coughed it up plenty of times themselves. That was Mitwari, wrapped up by Feeney. Defence from him. They take their time, they get set. Now it's Cannon. Quinn Cannon. Take it outside his own 30. They kick early in the count, but waiting for it there is Liam Murphy. He comes off his shins. He's up to the 40. Turns to the right. Okay, good field position for the Rams to start this set. 2 minutes left on the clock. Jesse Tors slung to the ground in the tackle. 45 out. Hallam. Now it's with Luke Johnson. He's 40 out. That's 3. Charlie Hallam, it's slapped down. Got to be a penalty. Well, he called it a knock-on instead. Marco must have been square enough. Rams get into position very quickly for the scrum. 1:32 left on the clock. 1:31, 1:30. Rams are ready. Bushrangers aren't. Scrum packs. So it's Hickson. That's the 30-metre line he's tackled on. Hallam gives it to Leapai. Leapai up towards the 20. They're going to get one shot at this, the Rams now. Hallam goes right. Morgan still going. Up to the 10. He offloads. He gives it to Hallam. Hallam off to the left line's Feeney. Feeney pauses at the 10. Looks for a way through. He's close to the line. He's at the line. He's inches away. Hallam. Long ball. Gives it to Hickson. Hickson runs back to the left. Bounces off the tackle of his opposite number. About 2 out. And it's a straight changeover of play after being kicked away. So, with the last 20 seconds on the clock, believe it or not, we saw a draw. We saw a draw between these sides at Greenway earlier this season. And unless the Bushrangers cough it up, it'll be a draw this afternoon. So, where do they go? Here comes the kick. And it's into touch as time expires. And believe it or not, after a 16-all draw between these two sides at Greenway earlier in the season, we have a 24-all draw between them here at Phillip this afternoon. And I think both sides out there, well, it's the old saying, isn't it? The draw is like kissing your sister, and both those sides out there this afternoon looking pretty flat about things. The Rams needed a win to keep their season alive. That's their third draw, believe it or not, for season 2017. The Bushrangers, it's their second draw for 2017. That'll take them to 16 competition points. And West Belconnen are on 18, if I'm doing the maths correctly. So now a full game ahead. It means that next week's game that we'll have for you on Bar TV at Kipax, where it'll be the Bushies against the West Belconnen Warriors. That game may well be a virtual final decider. And we are hoping to bring you a quick chat with one of the players. I think it might be Ron Leapai we're looking to bring up. It's a bit hard to tell. We'll see if we can get him out. Ron doesn't look terribly thrilled at the idea of talking to us, because I think he's a bit knackered, to be blunt. But we'll see what we can bring you. While we're waiting for that, let's just give you a bit of a summary of the game. I'm still trying to work out why the decision to take the penalty was made, but Ronnie Leapai's on his way up to us. So after a first half that was fairly well dominated by the Bushies, 3 tries to 1. The second half, it went the other way. It was 3 tries to 1 to the Rams. And I saw a great try to Ron Leapai from about 50 metres out. We'll ask him about it in just a second. Gilmore also scoring, taking tacklers over with him. There's 2 tries to him for the day. Afamui scoring on from the long ball, 7-6-4 ball if you like. And then Brad Pryor scoring with a grubber from the Hallam conversion. But here's the man who's... we'll just get you to turn around there, Ron, and I'll turn around so I don't strangle myself in the microphone. Well, Ron, they say a draw's a bit like kissing your sister. You really needed a win today, but you scored one of the more remarkable tries we've seen out there from a good 50 metres out.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Credit to the boys for keeping in that grind. We had a all right first half, and our coach was telling us that we need a good second half, come out firing. So credit to the boys. If it wasn't for the boys, I would not make that break.
I wanted to ask you about what was said in the sheds at halftime, because you really seemed to come out with a lot more direction and a lot more purpose, especially in that first 10 minutes or so.
Oh yeah, we knew that we had a few errors on us. In the first half, we dropped the ball in the rucks. We had a pretty bad play of the balls, but the coach just said, we need to keep in that grind. Don't let them get over us. They had a few big boys. We just needed to get under them, and yeah, that was pretty much what was said. Come out firing, make sure they don't get a roll on, and yeah.
You really needed a win today. This is one of those seasons where you're going to look back. I mean, today takes you to, 3 wins, 7 losses and 3 draws. You know, it's a season that, and some of those losses have been absolute heartbreakers too. I know. How do you look back at it from this point?
Well, you know, like we've had a good season. We've had our ups and downs. You know, it's all about having fun. Now with the boys, I don't think our season's over yet, but just need to keep in that grind and make sure we're looking good.
Next week, pretty tough one. Over to Seaford Oval to take on the Blues. What do you do?
Oh, I don't know.
Refreshing honesty.
They're the first place team, so we just need to go out there and do our best and hopefully come out with a win.
And finally, Ron, you know, what was going through your mind with as it went from 50 metres to 40 to 30 out? Did you think, I'm going to get there, or did you hear the footsteps behind you?
Oh, I heard the footsteps at the back, but I saw the fullback. He looked at me and he looked a bit scared, so I had to take him on.
Good stuff, mate. Congratulations on a great try, and all the best next week.
Thank you.
That's Ron Leopai, our Bar TV man of the match. We'll repeat again, not the official man of the match, but certainly the man we picked today as most influential in the result. And a remarkable try from him this afternoon. Repeating, it was 24 points apiece at full time here after a half-time scoreline of 18 points to 6. Remarkable that these two sides have played each other twice in this competition. Both times it's finished in a draw. The Tuggeranong Bushrangers, well, they were teetering, they were hanging on to a potential final spot. Next week it now becomes basically win or go home for them, I'd reckon, up against the West Belconnen Warriors at Kipax. We'll be bringing you that game on Bar TV next Sunday afternoon. And as we mentioned with Ron Leopai there, for the Woden Valley Rams, well, they've kept themselves alive, but gee, they're going to have to do it tough. They've got the Blues next week, the Roos the week after. We'll keep you posted with all that here on Bar TV as well. But I look forward to joining you from Kipax next Sunday afternoon on behalf of the Bar TV team and everyone at the Canberra Raiders Cup. This is Chris Coleman signing off from Phillip Oval for this chilly Sunday afternoon in Canberra.